Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel. I think this news is actually a week old now at some point. I don't follow news stories. I don't keep on top of what everything what's new. But I just saw it myself and then immediately just, how dare him? And I thought this is definitely something I talk about on my channel a lot. Now I know I brought up Chris Evans a lot recently in videos because he's being such a bonehead, and it's really it affects me personally as a fan, but it affects me as somebody who studies mythology and how it affects our culture and psychologies, because he's a pretty pivotal person, being the one that we think of when we think of Captain America now. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, obviously, which Chris Evans tweet are you talking about? Because the man's kind of psycho. He's like the Donald Trump of the left in terms of his Twitter account recently. But he's been saying his one tweet that people are making a lot of, which is a very short and simple tweet, which says there was some story about who Captain America is or whatever. People are talking about MCU characters coming back, for new movies or whatever, classic ones or whatever. I guess there's been some speculation as if he's ever going to take up the shield again. And he came out with a tweet that just simply said, Sam Wilson is Captain America. And of course, the ideologues are championing that, that's right, all you racist people who don't accept it, you just better accept it, and so forth. So many ways I could say this. I hate to break it to you, Chris. I hate to break it to you, Disney. I hate to break it to you, Marvel. You have zero say in who Captain America is. You have absolutely zero say in that matter. You own the copyrights. You have say in what stories are mass-produced, what stories hit theaters. Sure. You have zero say in who Captain America is, though, because that's a choice that culture makes. That's the way mythology works. We decide if we're going to accept that story that you've given us into the popular consciousness, into mythology. And right now, Falcon Cap is light years away from ever holding that role. Doesn't mean it can't. And in fact, I'll talk about this in a moment with the way that, people hate watch or just, have to be in the know, and keep consuming this garbage. Hey, maybe one day, but that's just not the case now. And I don't foresee it happening myself. I made a video a long time ago about Canon. I think it was related to Star Wars, because that's one argument that we had a lot when EU fans would get this a lot when they're talking about the nonsense that Disney's doing with Star Wars now. I was like, you know what? That's canon, though. It's canon. You have to accept it because it's canon. If you want to be a part of the universe going forward, then you need to just accept Rey, accept Ahsoka, Mary Sue Ahsoka, accept all this because it's canon. Guys, it's canon. And that would just infuriate me, like that word canon's supposed to mean anything to me. Just because a copyright holder says something's canon, it's garbage. That's baloney. A canon is, and I don't go the opposite way, the extreme opposite way. I say, well, my head canon. It's my head canon. I hate that term too, because it's this people's. That term is usually used as a justification for people to be able to watch and support or consume stories irresponsibly and just claim, well, no, but I'm parsing it out through in my own personal head canon. That's dumb. I hate that phrase. There's a cultural canon. I think that's a good phrase to use. So, for example, you go out on the street and say Captain America to anybody, and if you tally or you poll the numbers, they're going to say probably Chris Evans' classical portrayals as Captain America. They're going to know Steve Rogers. Even if they don't know the name Steve Rogers, the person that they picture will be Steve Rogers. Not Falcon Cap, not Sam Wilson. And that's just the way that is. That determines who Captain America is. That determines cultural canon. Because the character that most people will think about means that that's the character or that's the version or whatever that's really working in their if they watch the stories, if they like the character and love them, or if they even have enough cultural recognition of it, it's working in their own psychologies to inspire them to certain things. It serves as a symbol, right? It serves as a symbol. Like, Captain America, we know, is a symbol of goodness, of what, what Americans should want to strive to be. Kind of like a Superman, or at least as it was anyway. And, that's not the case. And that's why Twitter is just such a toxic little environment. I don't know why anybody's still on Twitter, because it's just like 15, obviously more than that, but comparatively speaking, it's a very small little minority of incredibly vocal, belligerent ideologues who are frankly just losing their humanity with the ways that they're treating people and the ways that they're lashing out and striving toward their progressivist future. It's nonsense. So we decide as a whole what canon is, or what, who these characters are. And this is what I'll get to, and this is the admonishment. Probably tired of hearing me say it, but you're going to continue to hear me say, stop watching this garbage. Stop. Well, I kind of interested to see if, the second season of Falcon Cap is going to be, as bad as the first one. I have to watch that. Or, so-and-so, I need to review it. I need to watch it so I can review it. I don't care what your reasoning is. I don't care if you pirated it. The more time you spend consuming these canon stories, these horrible canon stories that people put out, the worse, the more traction they'll get in culture, and the closer they'll get to becoming the new definition of that character for people. This is what's happened with Batman. I did a couple videos before on Batman. Culturally speaking, to the average person on the street now, Batman is the Punisher. Batman is a brutal, probably kills people, should be killing people anyway, the Punisher. And that's a tragedy. That's a tragedy. But how did that happen? It happened incrementally. It happened when people falling all over themselves about Chris Nolan's Batman. And then eventually trying to justify Affleck's Batman. Oh, but it's a story about how he falls a little bit, but then he learns he shouldn't be killing. And then people are still to this day trying to defend Matt Reeves' Batman. It's so inspirational at the end. As I've said many times, no one's going to tell a story of a hero who's learned that lesson and stays that way. And Batman should be above that anyway. He's aspirational in his true state, so he shouldn't be even falling to that. But people want the stories of the brutal. They want the stories of that because it tells them they don't have to strive as hard. So because of that weakness in human nature, because of so many people just justifying it and celebrating the brutal Batman, that's Batman now to the average person on the street, popular culture, gauge. And it's tragic. It's horrible for classic Batman fans like myself. Superman's pretty much that way because people just can't not excuse the Henry Cavill Superman. It's just garbage. It's horrible. Captain America hasn't fallen to that level yet. The character of Captain America in public consciousness, but he will if you keep going and watching the next Marvel movie. Yeah, even something like Thor: Love and Thunder that has nothing to do with Captain America. It's part of that universe. It's part of that canon. Part of that continuity that they are pushing. Yeah. Your ticket and your squeeing online about Spider-Man No Way Home contributed to the deconstruction of Captain America. This is how mythology works, and people just can't get it through their thick skulls. It drives me crazy. Stop supporting the garbage. Don't let them tell you who Captain America is. Don't let them tell you who Luke Skywalker is. Don't let them tell you who any of your favorite characters are. You know better than they do because you've suffered and bled with these characters through your reading of them, through your drawing inspiration from them, throughout different moments of your life. That's what these mythological characters are there to do. So when I say don't let them tell you who Captain America is, but the tragedy is they're also trying to tell you who Falcon is. And as many people have pointed out, the idea of Sam Wilson becoming the next Captain America is a horrible slap in the face to the wonderful character that was Sam Wilson's Falcon. Not to mention just a total utter disregard for Bucky and all of his character development. But Sam Wilson is an amazing character. What a wonderful, wonderful character. I actually did a Heroic Inspirations chapter. I did that series for a while, Heroic Inspirations. I did a whole chapter on Falcon as portrayed in the MCU movies, but we hadn't gotten up to like Endgame or any of that nonsense yet. And it was like, wow, obviously the character in the comics was great, but I was focusing just specifically on the on-screen depiction, and he's a wonderful character. He's a wonderful person to draw inspiration from, and again, doesn't matter any inspiration. And this isn't the be-all end-all of the character at all. I hate it when people try to reduce a character portrayed by a minority race or whatever to just the fact that it's a minority race character or something like that. I hate that because there's so much more than that. But any inspiration you were going to draw from Sam Wilson's Falcon being a minority superhero on a team like Avengers, any inspiration you were going to draw from that, goes out the window the second you say, well, no, the only way to really make him equal is to give him the white man's title. You know, that that's just saying that everything he did up to that point isn't good enough, you know? Doesn't make him special enough. That's ridiculous, you know? So don't let them tell you who these characters are. And you know, your little angry tweet about it or your little angry comment isn't enough. Stop supporting it. Stop it. It's wonderful that Thor Love and Thunder has fallen. You know, as many people, I think Ryan from RKA Outpost has been pointing out, and lots of other people, I'm sure, how it's struggling to even break even. You know, they're trying to spin the numbers as much as they can, but the fact is, it costs so much more to make that movie that it's, you know, it's sending them a message. That and then the drop off from the Doctor Strange, that's great. But it should be so much worse than that. It should be so much more than that. Stop. They shouldn't have gotten your money for any of those movies. Spider-Man No Way Home should not have received your money. They've learned that trick now. Especially now that Thor: Love and Thunder fell off and didn't do the money that they wanted to. Bet your bottom dollar they're going to pull out some nostalgia another movie or two down the line. They're going to pack in some major nostalgia because they know that works. They know you'll go, well, I'm conflicted. Tobey Maguire's in it. I feel like I gotta go. They know that works. They know they've got you. So wait for that. Next movie or two down the line, they're going to pack in some nostalgia bits, those member berries for you that don't actually serve or honor any of that nostalgia or any of those old stories. They're just thrown in there as a couple little frosting bits to get you to buy your ticket so that they can continue to use it to promote the garbage that they're doing for their ideology and so forth. Stop being so naive and falling for that nonsense. Don't let them tell you who these characters are. You tell them. You've got the power. They can make the stories. They can stop anybody else from creating and selling a story with that name or copyright or whatever. But you have all the power in the world to tell them if that story is going to stick around in the cultural memory, if that story is going to resonate, if that story is going to be successful enough for them to make another one. And people are just laying down that power by the droves just so they can be in the know and just so they can be, you know, I got to watch it. I got to know what people are talking about. Know how bad it is, you know. Stop it. Be better than that. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the true stories and the true heroes you know and love best.